What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley. Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Welcome back to StreamerSZN, where
You scrolls.
Skrulls are invading and Dylan's buying a house. Busy. Welcome back to StreamerSZN, ladies and gentlemen, fellow streamers. It is KB and Christian coming at you with another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform, TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. We're going to dive into Secret Invasion Episode 3 as the Skrull search continues. The Secret Invasion men are back.
I think we were proven right on at least one of our theories.
I think so. Or were we? Who knows? Who do you trust? That's the whole point. We had a fun Twitter discussion today based on a tweet. Not a thread, but we are on Threads, so that's new. But we're going to do a Fictional Bands / artist draft, which will be very fun. It was inspired by a fun little prompt on the tweet machine. And then, of course, we'll get into the streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by Kenwood Beer. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials. Twitter, Instagram, Threads, all at StreamerSZN. And then we are now on TikTok, at StreamerSZN Pod, because somebody took StreamerSZN a long time ago, apparently, and they don't even post on there anymore, so I'm going to try to acquire that username somehow. But StreamerSZN Pod is the TikTok handle, so go follow us on TikTok. Faux show. We're going to be doing a ton of stuff on there. I think it's going to be a huge platform for us. So follow us on the socials. Follow Christian on Twitter at @thewiz_PHI, and you can follow me at KBIZZL311. You can also follow me on TikTok, even though I haven't posted on there, at KB Underground.
I wonder why you haven't posted on there, Conspiracy Theory Music.
Maybe I'm a Skrull. Maybe my TikTok isn't real. Maybe my TikTok is a Skrull. Who's to say? Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast feed as well on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps more people find StreamerSZN and Underground Sports Philadelphia. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. We are currently at 515 subscribers, trying to get to 600 before the end of the month, and we declared on the Outside the Box podcast, the most recent episode, it is hashtag DJ1K. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers for DJ's birthday, which is September 4th. So you have about 2 months to help make DJ's birthday wish come true, or else something bad is going to happen, and you don't want to know what that is.
DJ will have to live in Alaska.
Maybe. Maybe he relocates to our Alaskan branch. Underground Sports Alaska, where there's just ice fishing and
crab
skiing
fishing
and crabbing and a show about truck drivers driving on the Alaskan coast. That'll be DJ's next role here. But go subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. He's going to love that.
Ice trucker correspondent DJ tuning in.
He thinks it's cold in Kalamazoo. Just wait till he gets to Alaska.
Oh. Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast, my friend.
And be sure to get your merch at PHI Apparel Company. They're the best in the game. There's no doubt in our minds you're going to stand out at the movie theater, hanging out at home with your friends and family, maybe a little Netflix and chilling. In your streamer season merch. Get a hoodie, get a shirt. We're working on some new merch that I'm very excited about. It's a whole nother capsule line, kind of like our hoodie line that we did with the Hype Beast stuff. We're working on another merch line for all of our brands that you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled for, hopefully in the next week or so. So go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use our code UNDERGROUND. That's how they know you're coming from us. That's how you get your little discount of 10% off. That goes a long way. You get free shipping, and you're supporting your favorite podcast all in one. It's the most effective and direct way to support us. So go to phiapparel.co, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off any and all merch orders. Shout out to our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Christian Secret Invasion, Episode 3 has arrived. I think this episode delivered a lot of interesting aspects of where I think this show is taking us. It definitely answered one of our big questions from last week about this show truly being engineered by Super Skrull storylines more than anything. It is way more science-based than the comics, which I'm kind of a fan of. And the government is getting infiltrated more than meets the eye.
Every government.
Every government. Gravik is trying to just cause World War III and take over the planet. And we almost got World War III kicked off in this episode. If we wouldn't have figured out what the secret code word was, we could have been heading to World War III.
Tomato sauce.
Open sesame.
Open sesame seed.
More like Zachary. But this whole show has been built on the tagline of who do you trust, and I think this episode, more than the previous two, made you have to kind of lock in and be like, okay, who is who? Is this person a Skrull? Is this person real? And I think we're getting... We finally reached the mountaintop of build-up, I think. You know, I could be wrong next week, of build-up to where we're going. And I think next week we start going down the mountain a little bit and really finding out where this show is going to take us.
I think we have one... Because I feel like we'll get into it, but we got the Super Skrull thing. But I feel like we have one episode more, and then it will pop off in the last two. That's how kind of I view it.
That's fair. I think this week in particular gave us a lot of answers for certain things, but then also opened up a brand new bag of questions, including that final scene where I was sitting watching this week's episode with my mom, and I was like, no, this was the first time in this show where I was like, no, you can't end it like that. You can't leave me waiting a whole week after dropping that voice that's on the phone and homegirl just in a locked up safe with a gun in her hand. You can't leave me waiting a week to speculate, but that's what I live for. I love putting on the tinfoil hat with stuff like that because now I have a whole week to sit and stew on what potentially is going to come our way next week. But this week,
yes, but
I think
Kyle,
was...
That's what more shows should do.
Agreed.
More shows should do that.
And it's been a while since we've gotten that with a Marvel show where I'm just like, I was like floored. Like, you left so many breadcrumbs out there for people to munch on for the next week. And that's exciting. Like, that's what everyone has been craving from this show. I saw Robbie Fox from Barstool, who does a great job covering a lot of the stuff we do on his podcast, My Mom's Basement, talking about. He listed off like all the big name actors and actresses in the show. It's like, I can't believe people aren't talking about and watching the Samuel L. Jackson, Amelia Clark, like rattled everybody's names off show because it's awesome. And I think this week in particular really like delivered on a lot of expectations that people had for this show and where they thought it could go when they were given the spy thriller kind of, who do you trust aspect of what Secret Invasion was going to be. And, the episode's titled Betrayed. And you finally get a sense of what is motivating Gravik, and it's his betrayal. It's not like the comics where the Skrulls are motivated by a religion or anything like that. It is the betrayal that Gravik feels that he wasn't delivered a promise from Nick Fury. You also get the betrayal of Nick Fury's Skrull wife, who felt betrayed, felt abandoned. This was a fun episode.
I would also just say they immediately answered one of our questions from last week in that does Fury know his wife is a Skrull? And we have to see him clear. Yes, he knows.
Yes, he does.
He knows.
So, he knows. Shout out to New Rockstars. Does he know? Christian, I will allow you to deliver the ever-famous spoiler warning.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't do this accent, so I'm just going to do a shitty Marvel kind of accent. This is going to sound legible. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your friendly neighborhood spoiler warning. So please, if you care at all about not knowing what happens in Secret Invasion, please pause this podcast, turn on Disney Plus or whatever streaming service you use, legal or not, to watch Secret Invasion. Watch Secret Invasion, then come back, and we will talk about Secret Invasion with you listening. It's your ball, Kyle.
There it is. The spoiler warnings get better and better. We're going to have to eventually get an intern on this show or somebody in production and one day have a compilation of every spoiler warning delivered on this podcast. Be a great video.
Oh, yeah.
Nonetheless, here we go. Gravik informs the Skrull Council, which includes Shooter McGavin, that he has sent Pagan, Beto, and Xerxu on a mission that involves infiltrating the Royal Navy and authorizing a missile launch from the nuclear submarine Neptune onto a United Nations plane. In addition, Gravik also reveals that to counter a potential response from the heroes of Earth, he will utilize his developed machine. What do you know about the machine? To create an army of Super Skrulls. We get the Super Skrull name drop early in this episode, who are able to possess adaptive abilities and can alter their superpowers. We got the little tease of that last week with the aliens listed on the screen. Now we get the name drop, and Super Skrulls are here. So then we get another flashback dating to 1998, which is 3 years past the events of Captain Marvel, and 1 year after what we saw in last week's episode when Fury meets Gravik for the first time. So he meets with Vara at a cafe and exchange information regarding General Dreykov. Now, Dreykov, I don't know if this is who they were talking about. I'm going to pull it up right here from this embedded link. Yes, it is. Okay, I was correct. Dreykov, if you watch Black Widow, that was your villain. I felt very Leo meme when they said Dreykov, and I pointed at the screen because I wasn't sure if that's who they were talking about. But yes, they were talking about Dreykov, the villain that we saw in Black Widow, which is very interesting as well. They initiate their romance, and in the present day, at their residence, Vara brings up the topic of Fury's prolonged absence and questions his return. And in response, Fury reveals that he has retired and contemplates indulging in a new pursuit: revenge. Best served cold. Fury begins to suspect Vara's involvement in the rebellion, but she deflects that and sharing her survival through the snap, the blip, whatever you want to call it, and grieving his loss until the blip reunited them until Fury abandoned her for his commitments to Saber. Vara's conversation is interrupted by a phone call. That kind of gives you the surface level of betrayal. Vara feels betrayed by Nick Fury. You know, she became a widow during the blip, and then he comes back and then voluntarily leaves to go up to space and is away from his wife, and she feels betrayed there. So can you blame her for wanting to get on board with the rebellion? I don't think so.
No.
So then we go to New Skrullos, where Gravik suspects Gaia of being a traitor within his unit, questioning how the police found their safe house, but she deflects this by claiming Brogan cracked under pressure while he was being tortured. The two travel to London to meet with Talos at the National Portrait Gallery, which is a very, very distinct place that they chose, because obviously Skrulls copy the faces of everyone that they see. So very fun place that they choose to visit. And during their journey, Gravik receives a call disclosing the UN plane's coordinates. And at the museum, Gravik delivers a speech to Talos, triggering a move to a cafe. And Gravik taunts Talos, mentioning Gaia's presence. And Talos attacks, but the cafe's patrons reveal themselves as Skrull rebels. And that is the scene we have all seen in trailer footage, in promotional footage, of all the Kingsley Benedirs showing up in the room. Very cool scene. I think one thing that I've been pretty impressed on so far throughout Secret Invasion is the CGI has been much better than what we've gotten in the past few Marvel shows, including She-Hulk, obviously. The transitions have been really clean, really smooth, and the CGI has been much improved.
I would just say, though, that that's also a byproduct of it being not as CGI needy so far.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, we've seen some... I think Heavy Spoilers was talking about it. Like, the other thing that looks really good is, like, the de-aging that they've done on Nick Fury. And, I mean, Samuel L. Jackson hasn't really aged too much, but he said to point out, when you look at the new Indiana Jones movie, when you look at The Flash, like, some of the stuff is pretty wonky, especially The Flash. Because I saw somebody do it. I don't know if you saw this video on your timeline today, the side-by-side of Evan Peters' scene in X-Men side-by-side with the new Flash movie. And someone was like, one of these movies came out a decade ago. And it's like, damn, The Flash was pretty bad.
Yeah. But there was an interesting discussion around that scene in question, because it's kind of like, did those Quicksilver scenes ruin slow motion forever? Because and they brought it up in comparison to the first Incredibles film, where what's the little guy's name?
Jack.
No.
Dash.
Dash. Yeah, right. Dash speed making spell, but Dasher's whole running through the jungle thing about how he still has things chasing him, so we can tactfully measure his speed and stuff, whereas in the Flash we're just in a void zone and all this. True. And they do all this slow-mo stuff, and so it's kind of like Quicksilver, Evan Peters ruined it for everyone else because they handled it so well. Mm-hmm. So,
sound off in the comments. Your thoughts.
Yeah,
let us know. We want to hear from you guys, obviously. So then we get them being revealed as Skrull rebels, and Talos warns Gravik of humanity's strength and unity and plans to expose the Skrulls, eliminating their advantage. Provoking Talos again, he stabs Gravik through the hand with a knife. It's a knife. But he heals from his injuries.
That's not a knife. This is not.
This is a knife. But Gravik heals his injuries due to having the DNA of Extremis in him, allowing him time to flee. The Extremis DNA being in Gravik obviously reveals him as kind of what I would assume to be the OG Super Skrull. I think we saw in the trailer footage that we looked at last week too, to kind of sift through. Like, we see the scene where Gravix got Groot's stretching abilities with his tree arm. Gravix got all of the abilities in him. Gravix like, I am Groot. That's a meme we have to make. The Captain Phillips meme. Look at me. I am Groot now.
All right, Kyle.
I am going to be on that this weekend to have that ready to roll for when that episode drops.
and Kyle, save this for socials. Save this for socials as soon as it drops.
It's so good. It's so good.
What the I am Groot.
I am now.
I am Groot now. I'm Groot now.
That's so good. Oh, that's some of my best work right there. So then outside, Gaia forwards her information about the missile strike to Talos. And then we go to a pub where Nick Fury informs Talos about a Skrull agent who has infiltrated the U.S. government that is based in London. And despite their previous disagreement, Talos asserts his dominance. You always got to assert your dominance, ladies and gentlemen. And Fury's dependence on him, leading him to reluctantly beg for his help, to which he says, I need your help, Talos. I'm useless without you. That was just so good.
Pretty please.
Pretty please, Talos. Will you please help me? They set off together, and Talos shares Gaia's intelligence. And Fury identifies Neptune as the British submarine and contacts Sonya Falsworth, who discovered the covert camera that he set up on their earlier meet. To which... Great comedy
cute
there.
Eye patch.
Oh, it was good. It was so good.
Like, guys, this is what happens when you put two great actors together on a phone call. I say in air quotes because everyone's different and just want to get the same. But when you give two great actors a chance to banter back and forth, that's just like, mwah.
The organic comedy in this show is top notch, and that's what I've seen people complain about. There's not enough laughs in the show. It's not supposed to be funny, but when the organic stuff happens, it makes it that much better. Because
this example was a great. Yes, this episode was a great example of that. Like the scene in the bar we just talked about. Those are two great examples of Marvel doing organic comedy and not just force shoved down your throat Marvel comedy.
Exactly. So she discovered the camera that was set up on their earlier meet, puts an eye patch over her owl, and Sonya scolds Fury but discloses the identity and location of Commodore Robert Fairbanks, the submarine's commander. And then Fairbanks and his security detail have all been simmed by Skrulls. En route to Fairbanks' residence in Portsmouth, Fury and Talos engage in another argument, highlighting Fury's underappreciation of Talos' contributions, and Fury would never have attained his status as the world's most dangerous spy without his help, attributing Fury's competence as a master spy to his indisposable Skrull network feeding him valuable intel. Nonetheless, their banter resonates with the undeniable bond they share. Upon reaching Fairbanks' house, they stealthily infiltrate it and disable Fairbanks' Skrull security. Talos claims to have captured Fairbanks, but Fury anticipates this to be a trap. It's a trap! And holds Fairbanks' son Zachary hostage after discovering Talos was outsmarted. Meanwhile, Pagan, already embedded within Neptune, prepares to greenlight the missile launch. And then Fury and Talos... This is big. Fury and Talos try and pressure Fairbanks into giving up the code to abort the mission, but he is defiant, and Fairbanks discloses Gravix's rejected offer of partnership to Talos. Fairbanks brings up Gaia, which prompts Talos to shoot and kill him. This was a scene, too, that was pure Pulp Fiction.
Except it wasn't Samuel L. Jackson with the gun.
I was just waiting for, say what again?
I'll talk about it when we wrap up our when we're done recapping the plot. But these episodes always have like really good moments.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go ahead and continue. I don't think that's on a 5-minute tangent about me ranting.
So Fury and Talos try and pressure Fairbanks into giving up the code to abort the mission, but he is defiant, and Fairbanks discloses Gravik's rejected offer of partnership to Talos. While time is running out, Talos contacts Gaia to extract the code from the real Commodore Fairbanks' memories, compromising her cover. The code, Zachary's name, allows Talos to command the mission's halt and stop the strike, aborting the launch and blowing Pagan's cover. While disposing of the Fairbanks Skrull's body, Fury questions Talos about rejecting Gravik's offer, and Talos responds by expressing that while Fury still doesn't truly understand him, he will have his undying loyalty. Meanwhile, Gaia now exposes a spy, attempts to flee New Skrullos, only to be intercepted and executed by Gravik, who reveals the strike was part of another plan to uncover the traitor in their midst. Back at Fury's home, Vara follows up on the phone call she received and departs to a bank while being followed by Skrulls. Retrieving a gun from a safe deposit box, her conversation with the unidentified caller, whose voice surely resembles Colonel James Rhodes, confirms Vara's association with Gravik.
I will say this. I didn't really think we would only get 3 episodes of Amelia Clark.
I am going to put this out there for the people. There is still a whole hell of a lot of promotional footage with Amelia Clark in it, including some massively key scenes.
Right. Yeah, I forgot we talked about that last week, where there's images of her, video of her holding a shotgun seemingly back to back with Priscilla. Right?
Yeah. There's that, and then she's also in the president's blow up scene and everything.
So
the convoy gets blown up and everything. Yeah. So I don't think she's dead. My theory on that is she survives somehow,
barely.
And she may have taken the Super Skrull serum or whatever it may be.
Permission to go on a rant?
Rant permission granted.
I wish this series was not so marvelly. It is. This series has its brutal moments. Like it's actually doing the gritty thriller thing, like in the scene at the museum, in the interrogation scene, in all the other spots in the other episodes. It's just there's constantly such a light, airy Marvel exposition-y bit where there's it. This series labeled itself as a paranoia thriller, but it's really just giving you full plots in entire episodes,
mm-hmm.
and not leaving and kind of round stuff off at the end of every episode for the most part. Obviously at the end of this episode we have the phone call and stuff, but everything is so neat for the most part that I don't want the show to be as neat, because what it's trying to imitate is never this neat.
I do want to put this out there for everybody too, because I think today's episode, more so than ever, took us to a place where we kind of know where this is going for sure, and we kind of knew it early on, but now, especially since it's been transitioned from a show to a movie, today set up Armor Wars. And
Explain.
that's what... So the Don Cheadle phone call, and showing you more and more of like how the government's being infiltrated, and the premise of Armor Wars when it was originally put out for the people was what happens if the Stark tech falls into the wrong hands.
Okay, because I had no clue of the Armor Wars storyline, so
Yeah, that was kind of like the synopsis that was given whenever they proposed Armor Wars, whether it was San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con a few years ago.
And then they decided to turn it into a movie that we don't know when it's even going to
Right.
release.
So now I think that sets a lot of things up for, like today specifically set up a lot for Armor Wars. I don't think Emilia Clarke is dead.
It would be a hell of a twist.
Absolutely, and I think it would be like, it would suck, but it would also be like, damn, good on Marvel for really putting out there who can you trust and like not knowing who could be next on the Merc list.
Yeah, like they, as much as I hated seeing it, they did good by actually killing Maria Hill and not and actually being like, oh, see, she's fine now. It's like I like how they've like made this series more brutal. They've made it more adult. They've made it more of these things true to the genre. But they still leave it too pure. Like there's still such a sense of purity around it because we get these tonally heavy moments. Like for example, if we think back to last week, we have the train ride and stuff, which is like intense, strong, good use of exposition and stuff. And then it tonally downshifts, and then I'll kind of upshift, and it like never is like true. Like it's they do it very television formula, and I wish they didn't.
That's fair. I think the reveal of the Super Skrull machine was kind of crazy in a good way. You kind of see like how that's all getting done. We got a little bit more of a glimpse into where the actual human bodies are being held too. I'll have to go back and like watch the episode and like go frame by frame to see if they revealed anybody of importance in there. When I was watching it today, there was somebody in there that resembled a Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I highly doubt it was her, although her character in the comics is a Skrull. But that's something that whenever they go to those holding cells, we're going to have to look and see like who's in there, because there's going to be important people in there. I did see somebody bring up a great point. I think it was on New Rockstars. If like Don Cheadle Rhodey is revealed to be a Skrull, it's like, when did it happen? But then they were also bringing up other potential Skrulls, and one that really was like interesting to me, because one, how the hell did they get Groot DNA? We talked about it last week. The most likely place would be from Wakanda, from Infinity War Endgame. They brought up M'Baku being a Skrull. Now, hear me out. I kind of like their take on it.
Explain.
So when M'Baku is going toe-to-toe with Namor in Wakanda Forever, he, like, eats that hit from Namor. And Namor is a mutant. Namor has, like, emphasized abilities and everything. And it really only just broke that shield on M'Baku. A typical human is not going to eat a hit like that from a mutant.
Yeah.
Now, while M'Baku does have emphasized strength as a character,
that's what I was gonna say. It's like, while I get their
where
point,
do you draw the line of human strength versus supernatural strength?
Yes, but also you have to kind of account for like how like he's part of this tribe that's like in the mountains, like associated with what like apes, right? I feel it's like in theory, we have the Black Panther who has all that stuff, and then there you have the apes and stuff. There's some transitive property one could add, and yes, it may be stretching it, but I'm willing to believe that was just Chad. That was just Chad Mbaku just being like a brick house, because I just think he is the true brick house in all those films.
Mm-hmm.
Man is a big man.
Now, they also brought up, like, if he was a Skrull, and then, he's in one of those holding tanks, potentially, does he know T'Challa is gone? Which would just be like, gut-wrenching episode.
Here's my only thing with this whole M'Baku theory. It's like, he's so insightful and helpful with Shuri throughout that film. That wouldn't it almost like undo and negatively impact the entire point of that character in that movie?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like this is
the theory
where
is there.
Yes, like we are just getting into timeline issues now, because we don't know when Armor Wars is happening in the timeline, and you're explaining this to me, and I'm just like, so where does it fall in all this? And I'm just like, I have a headache. like I get we're doing multiverse, but Marvel, why can't you just make this all linear for me?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be something that we talk about, and the whole nerd world talks about moving forward, is like figuring out who is and who isn't a Skrull. Do we trust Fury's wife?
So, I will say this much. I think what we can imply by the end of the episode is that they are going to task her with killing one, if not both, of Talos and or Fury.
Okay.
Because those are really the only two people left standing in their way.
It's true.
And would Fury suspect? All that, but I'm willing to think that, well, if we're being honest, Fury can't die.
Yeah.
We still have 3 episodes. Talos is the interesting question.
I have a very fun thread that I bookmarked today because it is quite interesting. So this is from MT, Mastertainment, from New Rockstars. He tweeted this first. This is all from today. So he tweets the clip from I forget what movie this is. This has to be Infinity War, when they're getting blipped. But it says, "Nobody calls me Nick. Before they dusted, Maria Hill calls Nick Fury Nick multiple times. I believe this is because this is Soren and Talos, which we did get seen to be revealed in Spider-Man. I don't think anybody who professionally works with Fury calls him Nick. I think Fury's been gone since Captain America 2. Part 1. Part 2. Call Control Code Red. Nick Fury, air quotes, is telling Maria Hill to call Control when they're about to get blipped and everything. Who is Control if he's supposed to be the man in charge? Control is the real Nick Fury. Part 3. Talos calling Nick Fury back to Earth for Secret Invasion was probably another Code Red situation he was instructed to call Fury about if it ever came up. I think Control sent down a Skrull Nick Fury to handle Secret Invasion. Then real Nick Fury will return to finish the job. Someone responded and said, then how can we have Fury and Talos in the same room? And MT responded and said, I think Nick Fury in the show is a Skrull from the space station at the end of Far From Home.
I'm lost already, but cheers.
I'll send you the thread so you can follow along with it. It is an interesting take, since everybody in this show so far has said, like, you've been different since the blip. You've changed. Like, you're a different person. It would be real interesting if Nick Fury's been gone since Captain America 2.
It would be a hell of a retcon. I'll say that much, but it's also like, right now I'm mentally that gif from Always Sunny, where it's like, it's
the first episode with the guy talking about Skrulls.
Yeah, like this is what trying to unpack this show just does to my mind. And it's also why I wish it was more ambiguous, because they're giving us all this information, which is making us question more information. And I'm like, logically, I shouldn't have this much information, but I'm getting this much information. I'm like, oh, my head hurts.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff being thrown at us. There's still a lot to be unpacked. But I'll let you go on your typical rant on just this episode. Was it the best in your eyes so far?
I still like the first episode the most, because I think it hits close, like it is the closest to being like the ideal episode of all of these episodes, and it's the one I still think, like, you change the way a few things are done and the way a few things are shot, and you have like a 8.5 proper. So it's probably number 2, I think, because I like it more than last week, because last week was kind of just more of a collection of scenes in my book, whereas this like had more of a proper through line and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought this episode did a lot to just move things in the right direction. So I think there's a lot to still be unpacked and sifted through moving forward. But I think this was a good like mid-season episode for sure. I think that next week I think is going to be the interesting one, because that's typically with the Marvel shows too. Episode 4 is the one that like bangs. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. What would you give your rating score for this episode?
Well, first I would like, can I retroactively change my first episode grade and bump it up a little?
I will allow that.
3 episodes in, I would like to retroactively move my first episode grade to a 7.3. Let's just say 7.4. Because after having watched through, I'm less angry about the stuff they did in the first episode, and I can view it more with a clearer mind, instead of being like, this could have been so much better. Which, like, yes, it could have, but like I was a little harsh on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna retroactively move episode 1 to like a 7.4, and we'll have this be a 7.
I'm going to give this episode... I always forget what I give the previous week, so always disregard that when I'm dishing out the new episode ranking. I'm going to give this one an 8.3. I think it gave you a lot. I think it finally incorporated the, like, you know, be on the edge of your seat, great cliffhanger ending, and you really don't know who to trust going into the second half of the season, which is very exciting. So I'm going to give it an 8.3. You gave this a 7 flat, you said?
Yeah, 7 flat.
So doing some quick math here for the people at home, it rounds up to a 7.7 out of 10 for Secret Invasion Episode 2. Still pretty damn good in my book, score-wise. So there it is. Let us know in the comment section your thoughts on Episode 3 and where you think this show is going to be heading next week and beyond. But, Christian, let's get to our Fictional Bands Artist Draft. It's brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. Tomahawk Shades, they've been rocking with us for years now, and they are delivering the best sunglasses, blue light glasses, prescription lenses now for a fraction of the cost of those big eyewear companies. You guys can go to tomahawkshades.com, use promo code USP for 25% off your order at tomahawkshades.com. That's promo code USP for 25% off at tomahawkshades.com. Christian, the Fictional Bands draft is inspired by a tweet that I saw on the timeline today. I'm going to pull up who it actually was so we can give the proper credit. It was Royce Morgan at PT Sportsfix on Twitter, who tweeted, "The Blues Brothers Band are not available. Who is the greatest fictional band of all time?" So that has sparked us to draft fictional bands and artists.
Yes, it has.
I will afford you the first overall pick. We're going to do 5 picks and an honorable mention for the people at home. So, Christian, who do you got number 1?
Okay, well, first I think we need to quickly explain the ground rules criteria we set forth here. So we ruled that this is primarily movie and TV, with one exception that I desperately want to pick, but I don't think it's in the spirit of this exercise, which you and I talked about, Kyle. So this will be primarily movie and TV. This can be bands, rappers, solo acts, etc. And that's pretty much all. And I'm not going to do my pick that I desperately thought of, and I'm just going to save it for a honorable mention, which you can feel free to take it if you want, Kyle. But I have to be true to myself, and because we did not rule this as ineligible given the state of the tweet, I'm going to snatch Blues Brothers.
It's fair. I'll allow it.
Because so I'm someone who very much loves that era of comedies, and that movie's hilarious. And I'm sure some of us growing up watched Drake and Josh and know that specific Soul Man scene, and had no clue what it was referencing. And then we were shown the movie, and we were pissing ourselves laughing. And so, yeah, Blues Brothers, but I have other names up close behind.
My number 1 pick is going to be one that is near and dear to my heart. If you know me, you know why I'm taking it. I'm taking Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
From?
The Muppets.
Good one. Good one. Good one. What's your favorite of their songs?
Phenomena.
No.
So yeah, that is my number 1 pick. Christian, your number 2 pick.
So this one was my response to the tweet. This is a film that I wholeheartedly love. It also has one of the most iconic needle drops in cinema history. I will be taking Stillwater from Almost Famous. Cue Tiny Dancer.
Hold me closer. Good pick. Good pick. My number 2 pick is going to be. Pull it up here because I have it on a separate tab. And of course, it's not loading. Come on.
Where's the Google Doc when you need it?
That's what I'm saying. My number 2 pick is The Partridge Family. Pretty self-explanatory there.
Yep.
That typical era of family sitcom. Great pick there for me, if I do say so myself. Christian, you're number 3.
My number 3, and while I'm not the biggest fan of this movie, you can't deny its iconic nature. I will be taking Spinal Tap from This Is Spinal Tap. I am the film guy here. I'm just playing the hits at this point.
It's a good one. My number 3 pick is going to be the one I tweeted, and that is The Beats from Doug. Iconic Nickelodeon/Disney show, depending on when you watched it. It's a great animated take on the Beatles with a banger of a song, I Need More Allowance. So give me The Beats for number 3. Your number 4, Christian.
I'm in a hard spot here because I have a 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I have a 9 option list, but really I have 1, 2, 3, 4 I want to choose from for my last 2 spots, and I'm trying to figure out if you did enough research to take any of the any of the ones I'm thinking. Oh, I'm hating myself right now. Because it's a question of do I want to take the actually good one from a movie that people may not know, or do I take one from one of my favorite movies of the last 20 years? Oh man,
I feel like I know one that you're leaning towards.
Tell me, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Sex Bob-omb from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, that's I desperately want to take it because it's so me, but I also want to be Mr. Film Bro here. So I'm going to forego it for this round to have my honorary pick of Sing Street from Sing Street, which is a great film, and for people who don't know Sing Street, it's currently streaming free on Tubi. It is this coming of age comedy drama musical film, and it's styled after and the songs in it are styled after The Cure, Aha, Duran Duran, Hall & Oates and stuff. And there's this great scene where they sing a song called "Drive It Like You Stole It," and it's good. It's good. I'll play it for you after the show, Kyle. But Sing Street, that is my artsy pick.
My next pick is going to be a fun one. It's probably the most one-hit wonder of all time. It is the Star Wars Cantina Band.
That it's a clap for me.
Star Wars Cantina Band.
I didn't think about that. That's a good one. Okay. Why do I have to... Alright. So now I have to actually make a choice between Sex Bomb or my favorite one scene, like one of the best one scene cameos of like the last 25 years. And this is so hard because the music for Scott Pilgrim was done by Beck. And like those songs are actually good. But given, I'm gonna do it. So from the film Eurotrip. Kyle, do you know the movie Eurotrip?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what scene I'm gonna bring up?
It's been a while since I've seen it, but
Because Scotty doesn't know. In the opening of the film, when they're at a party, there is a band there, and while the band isn't named, one could theorize the band is Lustra, and they sing "Scotty Doesn't Know," and the front man of the band is a shaved head Matt Damon, and our main character is called Scotty. His girlfriend's name is Fiona. And if you know the lyrics of Scotty Doesn't Know, let's just say Fiona was unfaithful to Scotty. And while this isn't the most significant one, I wanted to have fun with my last pick, and so I'm unfortunately giving up my beloved Sex Bomb from maybe my favorite Edgar Wright film, maybe from my favorite Edgar Wright film, because I want to do the meme of Scotty Doesn't Know, because Matt Damon, it's in my opinion one of the best cameos of the last 23 years.
And what is the band name again, just so I can put it down?
So the thing is, I don't think they named the band in the movie, but you can just say because because I technically think it's Matt Damon lip syncing.
I am so torn for my last pick.
Okay.
Just like you. I think I have to lean this one just because it would be a great 5th round pick, and then I'll use the other as my honorable mention. I am going to put a twist on the Fictional Band.
Oh boy.
Because it is more so an album name than anything else. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
So the Beatles? Beatles? Not
the actual Beatles. The fun
sure, yeah.
Cartoon drawing design, just a fun twist.
Yeah,
there.
Sure. And so I'm gonna make something clear when we go to honorable mentions. Did my honorable mention inspire you to think of that?
A little bit.
Okay. So let's quickly touch on honorable mentions. And so this is one that I came up with in our pre-show talk. In the spirit of being the movie guy, I didn't want to do it, but I didn't do it. But my number one honorable mention is Gorillaz.
It's a great one. I told Christian before we started, it's a great pick
because they're an animated band even though there's people, they're an animated band. Obviously, another honorable mention is my beloved Sex Bomb, which I deeply regret not putting in because it's my brand so bad. It's so my brand. But I wanted to have fun with this list. And if we had a third person here, I would have took it. Kyle, you go ahead and name a few honorable mentions, and then I got a few quick ones. I'll close out with again.
My first honorable mention is going to be Prestige Worldwide from Step Brothers. Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, obviously the cult classic Boats and Hoes, with another one-hit wonder there. The other one that I had that was pretty fun, even though they kind of turned real, but not really. They started as fictional, and that's what I'm basing it on. The Cheetah Girls.
Okay. So my last little stretch here, for our Amazon Prime viewers from the last few months, Daisy Jones and the Six. Kyle, you'll get a kick out of this one. The Style Boys from Popstar. Do you regret not thinking of that?
That's a good one.
Lady Gaga's character from A Star Is Born.
It's a good one.
The big one we didn't name, Josie and the Pussycats.
Yep, that was on my honorable mention after I went through my list.
And then three kind of niche ones. The Dreamettes from Dreamgirls. Brian Slade from Velvet Goldmine, which is a Todd Haynes film about. It's this, and first of all, Todd Haynes films are all weird, but it's basically there's this rock star who faked getting shot on stage and became disgraced, and now they're going back to find him. So there's that. And then for all us comedy lovers, I submit Val Kilmer's Nick Rivers from Top Secret, which, if I remember the who had such songs as how silly can you get, and also why is there no name for it? No, Skeet Surfing USA, which is just the opening song. Well, not quite the opening song of the film, but I challenge people to look up Skeet Surfing Top Secret and not want to watch that film, because it is one of the stupidest things you will ever watch.
I have a couple more honorable mentions. Benny and the Jets.
Kyle, stop
they're
cheating.
Not a real band.
Stop cheating.
So it's an honorable mention. Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Okay.
And then for all you Scooby-Doo lovers, the Hex Girls.
I'm a Hex Girl.
So there it is. Comment yours if we missed any that you think we should have named. Comment them on YouTube. Let us know. But Christian, I think let's get into everybody's favorite segment. It is the streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by our awesome beer partners over at Kenwood Beer, the newly redesigned Kenny cans with the gold tops. looking cleaner than ever. Smooth, clean, and bright with taste to boot, Kenny is the routine choice of folks who want a balanced, flavorful, no-frills beer that's right for any occasion. It's also Dylan's favorite beverage of choice when he's house hunting. Some call it the best light beer they've ever had. We just say you can't beat the original. It's 4.1% ABV, just 120 calories, only 8 grams of carbs now with the newly rebranded Kenny's. Go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. Biggest one that I saw, Christian, that was at the top of my list. It is July 5th as we record this, and I believe around like July 2nd or 3rd. We already have the way too early odds for the Academy Awards Best Picture.
You posted this, and I had thoughts, but I didn't tweet them. So if you can pull up the full list and not just the image you posted, because I need to tell people where to immediately not waste their money on a specific film.
So let me log in here to the certain sports book that had it because no free ads. Here we go. So we've got Killers of the Flower Moon now at plus 250.
Which I will just say, that is technically the safe favorite.
Oppenheimer at plus 500.
That feels a little rich.
Past Lives at plus 600.
That feels... So, how it should stand right now is Killers, Smaller Gap, Past Lives. Continue.
We've got Maestro at plus 900.
That's a stretch because that's Bradley Cooper hunting for Best Actor and probably squeaking into picture, if not missing out on picture. So that's sketch one.
Blitz, The Color Purple, and Lee all at plus 1,000.
Okay, so this is the one I have to. This is the one I have to unpack on. Lee has no Oscar buzz, period. That film doesn't need to be that high. Blitz probably is not coming out this year. I hate to break that to people, but this is a film by Steve McQueen, who people may know from the film 12 Years a Slave, or from the Small Axe films that came on to Amazon last year. This is a film that's supposed to have a lot of awards buzz, which it correctly shows in those odds. The problem is, Apple is releasing Killers of the Flower Moon and Napoleon this year. So why would they drop one of their other biggest Oscar contenders right in the middle here? So I'm going to say we'll be getting that at Cannes or something come next May.
Anatomy of a Fall at plus 1,100, and then Christian, your baby boy, Dune Part 2 at plus 1,200.
Okay.
Let him cook.
That is way too fucking low for Dune. I hate to break that, but that's way too fucking low. Because realistically, how this should be sitting is, and now this is as of now, before Oppenheimer drops in 2 weeks, before Dune drops at the start of November, before we get Barbie, the same weekend as Oppenheimer, it should sit Killers, Past Lives, Dune, because here's the thing with Dune. Dune, so first of all, everyone loves Denis Villeneuve. He is one of the most beloved, just like, directors as a person in the entirety of Hollywood. Actors love him, writers love him, everyone loves him. 2, this is a film that is of the scale of The Lord of the Rings. if it hits, and it hits in the right way, this film is a runaway freight train. 3. This film is going to get so many tech nominations and wins, it won't be funny. Like, it is going to win visual effects in a landslide. It's probably the favorite for score. It's going to be up there for cinematography. It's going to be battling Barbie for production design. Like, it will be nominated for every below the line category known to man. It could get into adapted screenplay. It should get into director. All it needs really is, like, if it lands the plane and the acting performances do enough to get enough love from the actors branch in terms of voting for picture, it is the quote-unquote dark horse to win Best Picture. Like, it is firmly sitting third, and that's just from seeing the last trailer, which looks immaculate. Oppenheimer is Oscar baity. It doesn't feel like a film that would win Best Picture in modern times, but it's going to get a bajillion tech noms, much like Dune. It's Christopher Nolan. All that. I don't think Anatomy of a Fall will win, but it's a good shot to be nominated for Best Picture because it's one of the big foreign films from this year. Another film of note is Zone of Interest, which is this Holocaust film. So those are the two real notable foreign films right now. But as it stands now, those odds outside, like, if the only 3 I would even put money down on at those given odds are Killers, even though, like, give it a week or two after Oppenheimer, and you may be able to get slightly better odds. Past Lives, which is this year's, like, big indie thing, and then Dune, because even if Dune's a long shot, those odds are stupid low.
That's fair. Yeah, I like the Dune odds a lot. At plus 1200, that's
like
pretty nice.
Yes, like it. Dune as of now, just like, with no one having seen the film, I'm gonna put the odds at like 5%, but like plus 1200 odds at like 5%, 10%. This early in the going, it's like, I don't know, sounds pretty good to me.
Because I mean, if it picks up steam, like, the odds are only going to change. Like, Killers and Oppenheimer, since we put that tweet out, their odds have shifted already. So
yeah, like Killers. Here's how the odds are operating now. Killers is the safe pick. Killers, like, it's Martin Scorsese, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. It is a somewhat progressive film talking about real historical events that happened to the Osage people. I will say a new trailer for it dropped today that explains more of the story. What it has going against it is like 3 hours 30 minutes, which some people may vote against it for that. But this is going to be a major acting and screenplay contender. Past Lives is the big indie hit. It'll be a big contender for original screenplay, supporting actor, lead actress arguably, and if it can hit if it can win original screenplay, one of the acting roles, it can do a coda and have a shot at picture, but who knows? And then you would just have Dune, where it's just like, I am doing the biggest, coolest thing possible, and you are going to be wowed, and it's
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting to watch how it all unravels.
cannot wait.
According to the New Yorker, J.J. Abrams is making a grounded and gritty live-action Hot Wheels movie.
I don't know how that's possible, but go ahead, Chief.
Moving right along here, we got a teaser trailer for the Suicide Squad Isekai anime that's coming out. Artwork
Cheers.
looks really cool. Yeah, Warner Brothers Japan and a Wit Studio production. The Joker and Harley Quinn look magnificent, which is expected.
In the news of Marvel, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be going to shoot some stuff, which immediately made me pull up the list of Marvel films in pre-production. And here's how we have to think about it. Captain America's in post-production, which means the current, basically, 3 films in pre-production, at least according to Wikipedia. Thunderbolts, I view that as the most likely of them. Blade and Fantastic Four.
Blade makes sense because of Midnight Sun's connections with Doctor Strange and Blade in the comics.
You would know better than me. It's not Fantastic Four.
It's not Fantastic Four. There's no way.
We don't even know the cast yet.
Right.
You don't even know the cast.
The only other thing I can think of,
It's not
because it does say an
Marvel Wars.
MCU project.
What are the shows coming out?
Now, this could be a stretch,
Oh dear.
but the Sonyverse is loosely tied to.
Oh Christ Almighty.
It could be something Sony because Doctor Strange was in Spider-Man. So I don't know if they would loan him out to Sony for something like that.
Can I get a list of? Okay.
But that was my first thought when I saw that, was especially since we got the Doctor Strange name drop in well, not name drop, but like reference in Across the Spider-Verse.
So here's the issue. Nothing's really in pre-production
Writer
for
strike.
any of the. Well, no, like even for any of the shows, like all of the animation stuff is either all the shows are either in post production, currently filming, or in development. Because Daredevil filming, Ironheart and Agatha in post production, Untitled Wakanda series in development, Wonder Man filming. Like none of that checks. None of that checks.
So I think Blade is definitely on the table. Maybe Ironheart, because they're
Ironheart.
because they're supposed to be doing like a balance between sorcery and tech, and like the imbalances there. And the Hood has a lot of like the supernatural side of things. I don't know if that would be the case. That's the only other one that I'm like mind jogging about. If I had to place a bet responsibly, it would be Blade.
Fair.
And it's probably a Blade post-credit scene to tease the Midnight Suns, which is, you're going to love Midnight Suns in my
Oh, I'm sure I would.
It's all fighting the supernatural at the street level.
Ooh, spooky.
So it's a lot of fun. The Midnight Suns, I'm going to pull up their comic roster for you while we keep riffing.
Yeah, so it's Writer Strike is really fucking with the MCU right now, man.
Let's see here. Yeah, so the
Kit,
Midnight Suns.
Moon Knight, Kit Harington, and I don't know the rest. But
Blade.
Yeah.
Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider.
Norman Reedus, please understage right. Norman Reedus.
We also have Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider, as well. And then you'll love this one.
Understage right.
Morbin Time. Morbius is also in the Midnight Suns.
Get me my silver bullets.
We also
I'm
have
putting
Blade.
them at the pasture.
Wolverine is in the Midnight Suns. We also have.
Oh God, Kyle. Can we get the actual new X-Men film first before we do Midnight Suns?
Here's a fun one that we already have confirmed in the MCU: Elsa Bloodstone, that we got in the Werewolf by Night special edition feature. We also have Doctor Strange, Doctor Voodoo, The Hood, who is going to be in Ironheart. That's Anthony Ramos. Iron Fist.
Do we want to take that back up?
Moon Knight as Mr. Knight. The Scarlet Spider, who I believe is...
Isn't that in the Sony
being
thing?
talked about? Yeah.
Madam Web? Hold on. Is that the Sydney Sweeney character?
Well, she's...
I don't know.
Are they... Because Scarlet Spider in the comics is Ben Reilly, who's the one that you see in Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. I'm dumb. Don't mind me.
Briefly...
Sydney Sweeney is playing Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman.
Yeah. Briefly, the Scarlet Witch is in the Midnight Suns.
Please, I don't want to deal with this again.
Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell. And everybody's favorite Sorcerer Supreme, Wong.
Okay, and Kyle, I'm asking for this now. For all that is holy, if they actually do Midnight Suns, let Sam Raimi fucking cook.
Let Sam Raimi cook, and I think if you're gonna switch anything up to avoid like the Sonyverse stuff, swap out Morbius for Daredevil.
Yes, I do. like Midnight Suns sounds made for Raimi, and let him make it like hard PG-13. Like,
yeah,
just let him go hard PG-13. Let him have it. Let him have like somewhat large amount of creative control in terms of how he's allowed to style and tell it. And I feel like that's an actually great film.
And the Midnight Suns also show up in the Marvel Zombies comic run, which we're supposed to get the Marvel Zombies show in animated form. So, like, that could be something that also brings some of the Midnight Suns in at some point, because the Midnight Suns' biggest foe and adversary is Dracula. Which I can't wait. Dracula in the MCU is going to be fucking...
So, for all of the Rasta fans, tomorrow we will finally be getting the trailer for the Bob Marley biopic. And do you know who plays Bob Marley?
I do not.
Gravik himself.
Oh, I like that.
So
I like that.
He is playing Bob. He's playing Bob Marley, and LaShawn Lynch is playing his wife. That is a very good-looking couple there, my friend.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good good casting. Big fan. I will definitely be tuning into that.
Do we want to quickly talk? About the Daniel Kaluuya Barney quote?
I didn't see this, so this is news to me.
I hate trying to spell his name. Kalu.
I think it's 2 U's.
UYA?
YA.
Yeah, okay. So, sorry. Daniel Kaluuya's Barney movie is being described as surrealist, similar to the work of Charlie Kaufman and Spike Jonze. The film is being sold as an A24 type that will really play for adults. Anyway, it will lean into the quote millennial angst of the property quote of Barney. All right, man. Do what you want to do, Daniel.
Okay.
Okey-dokey.
The next thing I have here, Soprano star Michael Imperioli slams the Supreme Court's
Cheers,
anti-LGBTQ ruling. Quote, I've decided to forbid bigots and homophobes from watching any projects I've been in. Thank you, Supreme Court, for allowing me to discriminate and exclude those who I don't agree with. America is becoming dumber by the minute. What a quote.
Christopher is based.
So based. Moving right along here. Jeremy Allen White quote from The Bear. I don't know if you saw this or not. I get a lot of yes, chef, just about everywhere I go now.
Cheers, mate. that is definitely something that like he has become such a star from that show that it's kind of like reached the thing where how people are specifically known for certain roles. Where again, Kyle, you haven't watched Succession, but people when they see Brian Cox on the street, they have asked him to tell them to fuck off, because that's one of his character's signature lines. She's like, fuck off.
That's great. The next thing I have here, James Gunn, he just continues to be the GOAT. He says Superman Legacy will not show Superman's origin story. Quote, we've seen it enough.
I don't need to see
Thank
Papa Kent die.
Christ.
No, thank you.
Thank Christ.
Like, there's something to be said for Matt Reeves not needing to show us the pearls. And now James Gunn not needing to show us Papa Kent dying. Sex Education will end after season 4. It comes out in September. One of the last big remaining Netflix core shows ending.
We are back as a proper society, Christian, according to Jenny. On Rotten Tomatoes, based on 85 reviews, currently at 98%. Mission Impossible 7.
I'm gonna see it so many times in theaters, Kyle. It's not gonna be funny because now I'm gonna make something clear here. This movie drops on a fucking Tuesday. It drops on a Tuesday.
Club goes up on a Tuesday.
Yeah, so it drops on the 11th, and the first proper IMAX showings of Oppenheimer will be on the 20th. I'm setting the over-under at 3.5 IMAX showings that I go to of that film in that time span.
Fair.
But also another movie which is getting under talked about right now that comes out this weekend, Joyride. Very much in the vein of the early 2000s raunchy comedies. It's only an hour 32 minutes, guys. It's only an hour 32 minutes, starring Stephanie Sue. It's got a 92% critic score and a 100% audience score. Go support studio comedies, folks.
Yep, 100%.
I already talked about the Killers of the Flower Moon trailer.
See the Roger Deakins quote about Matt Reeves' Batman?
Yeah.
People at home, he said, "I've never been a fan of Batman until your film. I've seen it probably 3 or 4 times now. It's very moving. I love it. I connect with the characters. I connect with what you're saying with it. Roger Deakins, I want to know what characters you connect with. Is it Batman you're connecting with, or is it Carmine Falcone you're connecting with?"
See, here is the thing, though. It's also, in my opinion, the best use of a volume style setup, because they do it for the skyscraper stuff, and you wouldn't be able to tell the proper difference if you didn't know that. Did you see the Stranger Things news, Kyle?
Yes, I did, baby. Locked and loaded.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was so pumped to see this news when it rolled across my timelines on all platforms. I wanted to run through a goddamn brick wall, ladies and gentlemen. We got a little teaser, little info on the Stranger Things on stage. Quote from the official account: "It will take you right back to the beginning of the Stranger Things story, and it might hold the key to what comes next." And it is a very small TV, kind of like what Christian and myself are in right now if you're watching on the YouTube. And it rewinds all the way back to Henrik Creel, and seeing kind of the origin of where this all began and where Season 5 is going to take us. I am so excited about Stranger Things on stage. Like, I told my mom about this because she had no idea, even though I've told her that this was coming, like when it got announced and Upside Down Productions became a thing. She was like, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I said the same thing about Harry Potter, and I saw Cursed Child, and it was amazing. So, there you go. My mom's all in. Stranger Things: The First Shadow is the name of the stage play. A quick little recommendation for a recent streaming release that's gotten good praise. On Netflix, there's an anime film called Nimona that the 2 lead characters are voiced by, I believe, by Riz Ahmed and Chloe Grace Moretz. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I would recommend it to you. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of the notifications from Netflix on the tweet machine, and then across the board about that. So it's definitely something I'd be interested in checking out there. Scrolling right along here, we got
Magic 8 Ball horror movie.
Okay.
Excuse me?
I don't know if you saw. Did you see the clip of Margot Robbie like signing autographs on the red carpet and everything? The amount of people on the shirt, no less, but the amount of people on Twitter saying that they've been pronouncing Cillian Murphy's name incorrectly. It's not that hard.
Well, no. So I don't remember what it's from, but there's a large string of people, and I think it's mostly British people, who say it like Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I've seen that. I saw somebody say, "I pronounce it like my Italian ancestors wanted me to. It's Chilean Murphy."
So like, I'm not going to weigh in until I hear the man say it. Until I find a video of the man saying it himself, and then I will fully commit.
These quotes coming out of the set of Captain America: Brave New World with Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie are just gold. This is from comicbook.com. Anthony Mackie says Harrison Ford wore ripped pants on the set of Captain America: Brave New World because they lost his luggage. Quote, "I gave him a pair of pants, but those are my work pants." Harrison goes, "Anthony, just give me the damn pants." Speaking of Harrison Ford, too, I will be inserting this video to play on YouTube and the audio itself. But did you see this clip of Harrison Ford on Conan O'Brien's podcast?
No, explain.
Oh my God.
Born and raised in Chicago to an Irish/German father.
Well, if that's the quality of your research. And I imagine it is, because right there it says Harrison Ford, and then you had to write down Han Solo.
Yeah, I did.
You can't fucking remember that?
No, I can't. I can't remember Han Solo.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I wrote down because I heard that you were in some of the Star Wars films. And this was news to me.
Conan.
I've seen those films, and I don't exactly think you pop.
Well, you...
I didn't recognize... I'm sorry. Whoa. But I mean, I remember
Christ.
Chewbacca. I remember the bad guy with the black helmet.
Huh?
And then there's some people.
How come you're not still on television?
Uh,
It's quite obvious why I'm not still on television.
I saw that like an hour before we started recording, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Harrison Ford, while he's not quite while he's nowhere near Don Rickles, he's got some of that great comeback stuff there.
It's so good. Paul King says he made Wonka to be a film that can, quote, sit alongside Roald Dahl's book and Gene Wilder's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
To which I say, don't care, just show me Hugh Grant. Oompa Loompa. That's all I need.
Jack Quaid says All-Star Superman was inspiration for his performance in My Adventures with Superman. I feel like I haven't even heard of that. That's just me. Moving here. We got...
I think we've run out of stuff.
I had like two other things that I'm just like trying to find more. This was hilarious that somebody said Barbie having more territorial zone issues before Oppenheimer is hilarious because the Philippines are currently debating whether to ban Barbie. This is due to a scene in the film that depicts a map with the 9-dash line, a disputed representation of China's territorial claim in the South China Sea.
Let me do you one better. There was a fire on the Warner Brothers lot.
I saw that too.
Everyone's first joke is Christopher Nolan, what did you do? Like this Oppenheimer Barbie same day thing is truly creating some of the best social content out there, man.
It's been amazing, like simply incredible.
Well, hold on. Let's quickly touch on this so you can talk about it. We got a trailer for a little indie comedy movie starring Ben Platt called Theater Camp.
Yes.
About kids at a summer camp who do theater stuff. Kyle, your thoughts?
We will be talking about that on this podcast because not only is it Ben Platt, it's Jimmy Tatro. Young Bert, baby.
Young Bert, baby.
This one kind of makes me sad. Hopefully it comes back in the sequel. According to Empire Online, a cut variant from Across the Spider-Verse was a Spider-Man toy controlled by a giant kid's hand that would go off screen and hold him.
See, and the directors kind of talked about this. They had live action stuff, but then they were like, we don't want to break the wall that much, which I respect that level of self-control. Mm-hmm. But they didn't go full Lego movie yet. Now we can have our theories about Beyond the Spider-Verse and Miles is suddenly live action, yada yada.
Emphasis on the beyond.
Yeah, emphasis on the Beyond Spider-Verse.
Also from Empire Online, Seth Rogen says the Sausage Party sequel series will be unbelievably shocking, and I saw something else today that it had to have a screener with Amazon higher-ups before getting greenlit. Which, you know, if Amazon needs a screener, it's going to be fucking crazy.
It's going to be something.
This is pretty cool. I saw this movie. I enjoyed it for what it was. No Hard Feelings has passed $50 million worldwide. It's tracking to be the highest grossing R-rated comedy in recent years.
Kyle, question. Question. Did you back that ass up?
I plead the fifth.
For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, watch No Hard Feelings. And Kyle, I will say this. That kid put off going to Harvard for a year to film that movie. Jeez. For that scene alone, it was worth it.
Jennifer Lawrence has been one of my, I have very few, but Jennifer Lawrence is one of my celebrity crushes until the end of time. And it's even more hilarious that she is, in my age demo as well. She's 2.5 years older than me. That's ridiculous.
Well, Kyle, unfortunately, she's married.
Yeah, well, as I was once told... No, I won't say that. I'll save that for the director's cut. Jason Bloom says that horror movies don't work if you're not really emotionally connected to the characters. Quote, you have to be just as tied up in the events that are happening that are not scary to be scared.
Correct. True. Stupendous. It's amazing.
Also, over under that Knives Out installment number
3,
6 or 7 is set at the scene of Michael Rubin's White Party.
How much money is Fanatics going to spend on the merch in that movie? How sports merch mogul murdered at party. How much merch from that company can we have strewn across that place as Benoit Blanc goes around dressed in some outlandish suit when we have some 6'8" white country boy shooting guard dressed in God knows what.
Along with Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris, Tom Brady starting to act. Oh dear.
Yeah. I could see it happening. I could see the Michael Rubin White Party being the scene of a Knives Out movie. Even if it's just our own fan-created script. Ryan Johnson in our
Kyle.
line.
All right, Kyle.
Let us cook.
Time to get typing.
I believe that's everything I have here on my list. Is there anything else, Christian, that I may have missed that you had?
No, I think we covered it.
Also, how soon until they're showing movies on that Sphere in Las Vegas?
On or in?
Both?
On. It's a question of how quickly can someone hack it. In, who knows?
It's going to be interesting. That's all we got for you guys. Make sure you're following us on the socials. Twitter, Instagram, Threads, at StreamerSZN. TikTok at StreamerSZN Pod. Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI. You can follow Christian on Twitter at TheWiz_PHI. Me at KBIZZL311. And follow Dylan at Dylan Mazzola. You can subscribe to the podcast. Please do. Please subscribe. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We're there. Leave a 5-star rating and review.
Dylan do a weird cosplay.
Yes, subscribe. We've been seeing a bump in listeners on the audio, so that's awesome. So welcome if you're new. We are working on getting the second guest in show history on the show, hopefully pretty soon. Our good pal, Mr. Pat Pitts, his brother, was one of the lead writers for a new movie coming out called Quicksand that will be on Shudder next Friday, the 14th.
Ooh.
Not an ad. We're just hyping up the boy. We're trying to get Matt Pitts on the show. Christian, do you know who Matt Pitts was kind of the understudy / like right-hand man for about 3 years? I don't know if Pitts has ever brought this up to you in conversation or not.
No.
He was the right-hand man for about 3 years of his career to the one and only J.J. Abrams. There's a signed poster in the Pitts cave, personally written out to Matt Pitts from J.J. Abrams.
I'm hoping he wasn't involved. I'm hoping he wasn't involved in the script writing of Rise of Skywalker.
I don't believe so.
Okay, good.
I forget what poster is signed down there. I'll have to ask Pat. But yeah, J.J. Abrams and the Pitts family.
Kyle, please be Super 8. Please be Super 8. Please be Super 8. Please be Super 8.
So we are working on getting Matt Pitts on the show, hopefully soon, to talk about Quicksand, who the lead in that movie is one of the voice actors from Encanto.
Ooh.
So, pretty cool. It's a horror movie. Looking forward to hopefully getting that out there. And then we're still working on getting the founder of Culture Crave on the show as well. So, stay tuned for that. And let us know in the YouTube comment section, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia, other guests you would want to see on. Whether it's, the wildest long shot of a guest or somebody that you think would be good riffing with the boys right here, talking TV, movies, pop culture, all that good stuff. Let us know in the YouTube comment section and subscribe. youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. We're at 515 subscribers right now. Need to get to 600 by the end of July, and hashtag DJ1K, September 4th. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers, or else something very, very bad, potentially DJ moving to Alaska, is going to happen. That's all we got. We will catch you guys next week with Secret Invasion, Episode 4, and whatever else comes across our tables, and maybe we'll see if Dylan has a new house. Who knows? Or maybe it's just a Skrull that is trying to buy a house, and Dylan has no idea where the hell he's at right now. We'll find out next week, but we're going to try to go fight off the Skrull invasion and find some fictional band concerts to go to. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here. Peace.
See you.